It breaks down exactly what this hidden burden looks like because the loss of witness, that's really only the beginning.
Oh, definitely.
This canyon is an endurance test of very specific compounding losses that just pile on top of each other.
And honestly, naming these losses is so incredibly validating for anyone going through this. So we unpack the loss of witness,
Yeah.
but the materials then walk us through the loss of influence.
Yeah, the loss of influence. This is about the subtle daily guidance.
Right.
When you live with a child, you don't usually sit them down for a formal lecture on morality. You shape their values subtly, like during a 15-minute car ride to practice.
Or you correct a behavior in real time when they speak sharply to a sibling.
Exactly. You are the one they look to just a glance across the room when they're confused by something they saw on TV. When you lose that proximity, you are no longer the primary ambient voice in their ear. You lose the ability to guide them by simply existing next to them.
And then there's the loss of legacy. This one, man, it feels particularly heavy.
It really does.
It's about the inability to seamlessly pass down your family traditions, your cultural touchstones, or even just your personal stories in the natural rhythm of life. You can't just spontaneously decide to bake your grandmother's pie recipe on a rainy Sunday because they aren't there.
Right, you have to force it.
Yeah, you have to force these legacy moments into highly scheduled, structured visitation blocks or like compressed phone calls, which feels entirely different. It feels manufactured rather than organic.
Which leads directly into the loss of everyday intimacy. We tend to think of intimacy as these big emotional conversations or deep bonding moments, but parental intimacy is in the mundane details.
Like what?
It's knowing exactly how they like their toast cut diagonally, not straight across. It is knowing the specific heavy sound of their footsteps in the hallway when they are tired versus when they are energized.
Oh, wow.
Or knowing which blue shirt they absolutely refuse to wear because the tag scratches their neck. When you are separated by that canyon, you lose the texture of their daily lives. You miss the microdata that proves how deeply you know them.
That microdata is everything. And because you're missing it, you suffer the loss of advocacy. I think about this in really practical terms.
Sure.
You aren't the one at the parent-teacher conference reading the subtle body language of the math teacher. You aren't the one at the pediatrician's office.
No, you're shut out.
Imagine your child has, like, a mild peanut sensitivity. It's not a full allergy, but it makes them uncomfortable. You know exactly how to handle it. But now, you aren't the one packing their lunch, and you aren't the one talking to the school nurse.
You're sidelined from that fierce protective role.
Forced to trust a system or a co-parent that you might feel is fundamentally failing you.
And that sidelining bleeds directly into the loss of perception, which is how the outside world views you. This is a critical piece of the puzzle to examine.
Let's get into that, because society holds an incredibly narrow, often punishing definition of parenthood.
Oh, and it is exponentially true for mothers. The cultural narrative equates being a good mother strictly with constant physical presence and primary caregiving.
Always being there.
Right. So when a mother loses custody, the societal assumption is almost always immediate and catastrophic. It creates a horrific double standard. Non-custodial parents face a stigma that completely ignores the complex, nuanced realities of life.
Because the world rarely stops to consider the financial devastation, right?
Exactly. Or the mental health struggles, systemic inequalities, domestic abuse, or simply the brutally adversarial, insanely expensive nature of the family court system that may have led to this arrangement. The world looks at the non-custodial parent and just makes an instantaneous, uncharitable judgment.
And the tragic culmination of all that external judgment is the final loss listed in the workbook, the loss of trust with yourself.
That's the most dangerous one.
It is. When the court hands down a ruling that minimizes your role and your community looks at you with suspicion, it is almost impossible not to internalize that.
You start to believe the world's perception.
You begin to question your own memories, like,
Yeah.
was I really that bad? Am I actually unfit? You lose trust in your own internal compass, your own capability, and your own worthiness to be their parent.
You literally begin to agree with the paperwork rather than your own soul.
God, that's dark.
It is, but